So, my dad passed away, let's see, 5 years ago, and it's taken me some time to want to go through some things, but I just got the courage to go through some of his drawings. So, my dad was really an artist, and my dad was not well for a lot of his life. So, my dad actually ended up supporting five kids almost, well, maybe you could say seven, because they did take my uncles in when they were younger. And but they supported a household on what I'm about to show you. This is crazy. So my dad was a big uh he was big into drawing, and not just anything. Like, he loved drawing buildings and drawing homes, historical buildings, fictitious buildings, you name it, actual people's homes. He would draw people's homes. And before he knew it, he started to develop this town. And my parents called it Heartcraft Village. And it was just pretty cool. So as I've been going through some of the files, I have found some really cool items, such as this is one of my dad's hand drawings of a haunted house. He even dated it. But this is one of his original hand drawings. And this, he would take and he would scan this onto another document and shrink it down a little bit to the size that he wanted. And then he would color it. And ultimately, what he would end up with is this house in a smaller version in print form. And he put it on this sticker paper. And man, he would take that, put it on wood, and cut out that, which would, voila, create your little scene. And so he drew the trees, drew the characters, all the little accessories, drew and colored the buildings. Here's one of the trees that, actually, let me show you the cemetery first. This is pretty cool. Here's a cemetery that he drew, and those are all of my relatives' names in there, which is kind of funny. But he drew this, shrunk it down to this, and what he would do once he'd get it to the size he wanted, then this one he would hand marker and color, and which he did a phenomenal job. This was the final product. So as you can see, he really had a talent for shading and mixing colors, and man, it's just pretty cool. And what you see here is one of his Halloween trees, the big brown one here. I came across his original drawing of that, which is pretty cool. Look at that. How fun is that? So that's his original. There's what it looks like in print after he shrunk it down and colored it. Man, these are like, I know most people would think this stuff was probably junk, but to me, it's just treasure. When I look around and I see the stuff that my dad created, here's that scene with the cemetery and the haunted tree and the characters, and he was just big on that. Here's another haunted house that he made, which I love this one. I thought this one was pretty cool. It was one of my favorites as a kid. And of course, then he put it into print form, and there's the tree that he drew, and this is what it looks like as a set all together. And so just cool. And I remember as a kid, I want to say I was like 10, maybe 11, when they hired me to start cutting some of this stuff out on bandsaws and sanding it on sanders. And I mean, I actually enjoyed it as a kid, especially around the holidays, because around Halloween and all you're doing is cutting out Halloween buildings. It was kind of sick. I mean, it was pretty cool. And then Christmas time, I've got Christmas stuff sitting here I can't reach. But here's another one of his drawings, which I think is so cool. He actually created a Pueblo village. Here it is. He was big into really, he liked kind of capturing history. This is the colored version of the Pueblo village. And so then he liked capturing history in buildings too. This was an old firehouse he saw somewhere, took a photograph of it. It was an old replica of another old building, so he drew he made the drawing based off of a replica, which is pretty cool. He did library. Here's some of his original drawings. Here's a little country home. It's just pretty cool. Here is a nativity. He actually drew this and then created all the characters for it to go outside of it. Here is a log cabin. This one he actually made just as a log cabin. I remember him doing this, and then it hit him, I could turn this into like a Thanksgiving scene. So he created like all these Thanksgiving characters to go along with it. And it's just pretty sweet. I mean, to go through and find some of this stuff. Here are some of the, I can't find the building. I know I'm going to come across the building at some point, but this is a home that he just liked. He drove by one day, liked it, and thought, I want to draw that home. And he did. It's somewhere in this stack of papers. Here's one building that was super popular, like super popular. This was his blacksmith building. And the blacksmith actually it was a set of like, I would call them like a fall building set. Came with like a cider press, a mill, a barn, a Harvest Valley farm, produce store, all kinds of stuff. And it was just pretty cool. That actually was one of his more popular sets. And as far as, I've got that in reach. I'm grabbing it. As far as accessories go, excuse me. There we go. As far as accessories go, this guy was one of the most popular accessories for all the farm buildings right here. It's pretty sick. So this was one of the most popular, and it's dirty. I found this in their basement just a couple weeks ago, and I snagged it just because I wanted to hold on to it. I mean, I may end up doing something with it. I don't know. But this was one of his most popular accessories to go with the fall buildings. And what's really cool is I found the original drawing. There's the original drawing. And there's the date, whatever the date says, that 1995. So there's the original. Pretty cool. And then, of course, here it is in print form. I think I'm actually going to frame that bad boy. That was pretty cool. So to come across that one was exciting. And then actually, kind of cool to find probably one of the most popular trees we sold was an apple tree. And there it is, his original drawing. And so for those of you that actually bought these and you've seen these and you have them, that's kind of cool to see the original drawing there. That apple tree went in a lot of fall sets, so that's pretty cool too. But yeah, so my parents did a lot with these buildings. I mean, shoot, the gang sheets of like accessories and all that came with these things, man, there was a lot. In fact, he published, he created 10 different Halloween sets. Now, they actually made them in scrapbook form too for a while there. But there's one. That's the one I showed you was my favorite. Actually, I like that one too. That was one of my favorites also. I love cutting that one out. It was nice and easy. Anyway, so he made a bunch of these, and so you could collect them and actually have like a whole haunted little village. And but what's really exciting, so I'm going to have these on the website soon. And what's really exciting is my dad had 2 more buildings that he drew, he colored, but he never published. And so I came across those 2 more Halloween buildings. So there's actually 12 total, and it's pretty exciting. So all 12 will be available on the website for this fall. And but I just wanted to share some of that with somebody because I think this is really cool. And it took me a while to get to the place where I could do this and kind of siphon through everything. But I mean, it's just like drawing after drawing after drawing. There's one from 1993, an original sketch of one of the houses right there. I'm trying not to touch the print. He actually ended up, he drew his own logo. That's the logo that they used for a long time for their business, Hardcraft Gifts. Here's an example of the coloring. And not all of them worked out. Here's 2 situations where, okay, this one worked out. There was a building that, this is not the original drawing. This is a print of the original drawing, and he colored it all in. This one worked out, ended up being one of their big sellers. And then some didn't work out so well. This is one of the haunted houses, the original version of this one, I believe. So he originally went with a darker tone. Didn't like it. This happened often where he put it together and halfway through he's like, I'm going to finish it, but I don't like where it's going. And eventually he came up with that version. over this version, tweaked it a little bit, went back to the drawing board. Instead of using the wood, he went back to stone, and this is what he ended up with. So pretty cool. You know, they all went through stages. And if you look really close, there are things that have changed on both of these. Or there are things that changed for the final version. The fencing at the top of the roof is off. Some of the windows are completely different, and he would just do that. The doors were different. He would go from drawing to drawing and just keep tweaking it till he got it where he liked it. And then like things like this, let's see if I want to find this tree. So this tree here, this haunted tree, kind of hard to see through the cellophane. The cellophane has these like leaves on it, but anyway, this was one of his trees that he drew, and here's a version of it with a colored background. And of course, it didn't fly. He tried it out, wanted to see what it would look like. Didn't do his normal shading, but just kind of dropped in the color just to see what it would look like, and decided that wasn't it. So, so pretty cool, pretty cool. But yeah, so, and then here's a purplish blue version of it. Pretty cool. This was a popular building for a while for us. This old country store. That was pretty cool. Anyway, and then he had a Charles Dickens series, which, oh man, that one was really cool. Gosh, these are all the original drawings for that. This isn't all the buildings. I couldn't find all the buildings right away, but here's the Butcher and Baker. That was their building in the street scene. Here's Scrooge and Marley's place right there. Pretty cool. And then here is the Cratchits. And I'll show you one more thing to go along with that. I'll be right back. Okay. To go along with that, my parents, sometimes they would just do stuff to practice. So they decided to make that building, that whole Scrooge, Marley, the Baker, I didn't even show you this one. That's one that was not included in the ones I just showed you. But there's Scrooge and Marley's place. And as you can see, they look great even blown up, because my dad used such, fine markers to like create such crazy detail. But there is the Butcher and Baker place, and they would do this for kicks. If people asked for them on large scale like that for kids or something, they would totally make that and pull that together for them. But anyway, it's just a little bit. I'll probably share another video at some point. I know that was long, but thank you for appeasing and watching that with me. And as I keep going through my dad's stuff, it makes me feel good to share that with folks. I'd love it if his work wasn't forgotten. So my dad wasn't forgotten. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Love it.